Today we will be studying a poem from your syllabus, that is The Kite. It's written by the poet Harry Benn. Before we start, let us know something about the poet Harry Benn. Benn was born in September 24th, 1898 in United States. He died in this same month, that is September, in the year 1973 at the same place. He is famous. He is especially known as a screenwriter and children's author. A few of his noticeable work or notable works are also given that you can learn. At least one of them you should always remember. Suppose let's take The Big Parade, which was written in 1925.
Hello students. Do you know what is today's topic? Topic is the kite. Wow, you all love to fly kite, right? Very good. Every time we all eagerly wait for the 14th January, right? Because it is a Makar Sankranti day and we call it Uttaran. We wait for it, right? And what we do? We fly kites, right? We fly candles also, right? And what we do? We eat many different things. So students, let's today do the poem, The Kite. It was written by Harry Benn. Now what is the poet want to tell about kite? How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. How bright on the blue when it's new. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail. Then soars like a ship with only a sail. Then soars like a ship with only a sail. Means what the poet want to tell? That when the kite is new and the sky is clear, the kite looks very bright. And some noise is coming from its tail, right? And what happens? It turns plung to sideways. Gota khati idhar se idhar hote, right? It plungs sideways. It plungs both the sides. Sometimes this side, sometimes that side, right? And then suddenly with one thread only, right? Only with the help of one thread and wing, it moves up, right? What the poet said, that when the kite is new and when the kite is new and the sky is clear and blue, the kite looks bright. And what happens? Some noise comes from its tail, and sometimes it moves this side and sometimes it moves that side, right? And then with the help of one thread, it moves upwards. As overtides of wind climbs to the crest of a gust and pulls, then seems to rest as wind falls. When the string goes slack, you wind it back. And what happened? And then what happens as the kite moves upwards? It looks like it is swimming in the sky. And here the kite is compared with the ship, and the thread is compared with the sail of cloth, right? And what happens when with the wind, the sail of cloth help to move the ship, right? In the same way, with the help of wind and with the thread, the kite moves upward. So here the kite is compared with ship, right? And its thread is compared with the sail of cloth, right? And when the fast wind is blowing, at that times the flyer is unable to manage the kite, right? And suddenly what happened, when the wind becomes calm, the kite also rests on the sky. But very sad thing about the kite is what happens when it cut down and it fall on the electric pole or on any tree. It flatters, right? And it flatters and it becomes torn, it becomes shabby and rough. So here the poet has compared the kite with the ship and the string with the sail of cloth, as sail of cloth helps the ship to move on. In the same way, the flyers use string to fly the kite, and with the help of wind and string, the kite goes up. But when the wind is so fast, the flyer was not able to control the kite, right? And he tried to pull back the thread, and he rolled the thread in his the thing in which we roll the thread. He rolled the thread, right, in the things, right? In Hindi we can call it firki. In that he rolled the thread, and when again the wind becomes steady, so the flyer again fly the kite, and even the kite remains calm on the sky, right? But the very sad thing about the kite, we like to fly it, right? For the full day we enjoy. But what happened when kite is cut down, right? And it fall on the tree or on the electric poles, it become torn. It torns and it become very shabby and dull. Now let's read the summary of the poem. A new kite looks bright when the sky is clear and blue. See, when the kite is new and when the sky is clear, it looks very bright. The kite takes a plunge and bends sideways. The kite takes a plunge means it moves from one side to another. Its tail produces a cracking noise. From its tail, we hear some cracking noise. Then suddenly the kite rises high like a ship with a sailcloth. And suddenly, as the sailcloth helps to move ship and goes very far away in the sea, same way the kite goes up with the help of string. The kite has only one sail of string. Kite has only one sail, you know that. It rides over the strong winds and climbs to the treetop like a ship. And it moves on with the strong wind. Right? It moves on up and up. Right? It pulls forward when the wind is strong. But suddenly what happens if the wind is so strong? At that time it pulls up. वो पीछे पीछे खींचती चली आती है. But as the wind falls, it resets for a while. And again, when the wind becomes slow, right? And so what happened at that time? Kite also become calm on the sky. When the thread tied to the kite becomes loose, the flyer rolls the thread back. And sometimes, as the kite was very high, and sometimes it happens the thread becomes loose. At that time, the flyer means the person who fly the kite. What he will do? He will rolls it back. He will rolls the thread back. Then again the flyer runs until the kite is filled with the wind and goes up. And again, what the flyer will try? He will try to fly the kite, right? And when sky is filled with wind, again the flyer will try to fly the kite, and the kite will goes up. On a clear blue moon, the new kite shines. And again, the poet wants to tell that when the sky is blue and clear and the kite is new, at that time kite looks bright. But it gets torn badly when it flaps on the treetop. And it gets torn badly, means whenever the kite falls on the treetops and electric poles, it turns up. It turns very badly. Thank you, students.
आभार।